Second half, let's have a quick word with Maurice Lindsay here, the Great Britain manager and the Wigan chairman. Maurice, welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
Some side, these Australians, aren't they?
They're tremendous. I'm sure in the opening 10-15 minutes we showed everyone that we can be as competitive. And I really don't want to make excuses, but we do have one or two injured players out there who normally would not play, but as they're only here every 4 years, they just did not want to miss the opportunity. But it's clear Kevin Arrow came off with his hamstring, that reoccurred. Andy Gregory's played regrettably with this knee injury, and whether he comes out in the second half is up to the coach. We're just really struggling all round. We are down with players.
We'll come back to the match. React for me, if you will, to the back pages of a number of today's papers. Union, we strike back. We're going to make it a lot easier for players to cross the divide the other way. How is Rugby League going to react to that?
Well, I know most newspapers are running that story, and I think the statement really is that Rugby Union are running scared. It's as simple as that. I believe that they're going to get together internationally and ward off the threat of Rugby League. I believe they're going to make an attempt in Australia. Let's deal with that one first. They haven't got a prayer in Australia of competing with Australian Rugby League. Anyone who's been to that country, and I've been at least half a dozen times, will go to a Rugby Union game on Saturday afternoon, and there might be 200 people there. Go to a Rugby League game on Sunday, and you might find up to 30,000 people there. The schools play the game, the colleges play the game, the media cover the game. There is just no comparison. In this country, there is obviously an advantage to the Union, because in league we've given them 85-year start. But we've started in the last decade, perhaps in the last 5 years, to just show them how attractive our game is and what a spectacle it can be, played at breathtaking speed, and of course offering massive financial rewards to the players. So Rugby Union players want to play the game. So I don't think it's anything to do with the home unions thinking that they'll stifle Rugby League at birth. We're well and truly here.
Okay, Maurice, thanks very much for joining us. Your message, in short, is try what you like. They're our players.
We're on the way, and hopefully at the end of the century, we'll be the national game.
Maurice Lindsay, thanks very much for joining us. The score back here at Central Park, let me remind you, 20 points to 6, the Australians lead. We'll be back with the second half after these.
Welcome back to Central Park. That's the half-time situation. The Australians in the driving seat. But remember, 4 years ago, Wigan came out and gave us a second-half display to remember. Let's hope it all happens again here today as Leiden gets this second half underway. And you notice immediately that the Australians have made a change. Lazarus has come on in the number 15 jersey for Martin Bella. Just looking quickly round the Wigan lineup. They begin as they finished that first half. There's Glenn Lazarus. Many people expecting him to break through and make it to the test team for Wembley on the 27th. So he will be out to impress. There's no respite for these Wigan players this afternoon. Hampson just waiting while David Myers moves up, takes the ball first receiver and is clattered on the halfway line. Gregory though, Edwards, good way. Edwards from dummy half. This is Kelvin Skerrett. Good tackling, Australia. Lazarus, the man in number 15. Gregory, well, he hacked that one forward and missed, and then hacked it back, and the referee said that that was a knock-on.
Well, he's correct. He did miss connecting with his boot, so it has to be a knock-on. The ball going forward. But there's no doubt in my mind that Andy Gregory is definitely unfit.
Let's hope he won't do any damage, and he'll be fit and eager to wear the British jersey a week on Saturday. Lindner, that's Langer and Sirenen. One or two Wigan players carrying injuries, Mike, but have they got the second win for the second half?
Well, they certainly need to score a try very quickly to get the crowd behind them. But really, I can't see it.
And here's Ettinghausen again. looking for his second hat-trick in as many games. After the 2-try display in the first half and 3 last week. Good yardage the Australians make, though, every time they have the ball in their hands. Langer. One for Myers to chase. And he does. But he's going nowhere. Not with those 2 round him. And what's more, Langer's come up with possession. He's stolen the ball. So Wigan on the rack here, right at the start of this second half. Meninga, the ball went back. Better tackling from Skerrett. Walters. Belcher, Langer. Taken down by his opposite number, Andy Gregory. 2 of the smallest men on the pitch. Here's one of the biggest, Roach. They keep it going. Belcher, Limner. Wigan's defence has to be keen, it has to be desperate, and it's all of that. Here they come again, Langer, Cartwright. Ball drops, Langer again, sweeps up. This is Lazarus. Belcher. Meninga's out wide, he finds him inside, but the ball's dropped into the arms of Lucas. Lucas just couldn't keep his feet, with the rest of the field gaping ahead of him.
Well, Johnny on the spot, Lucas there. Meninga not quite able to take control of that ball.
And so here come Wigan for the first time in this second half. Edwards. Nearly through.
Wigan really have to throw caution to the wind. They've got to throw everything in this first 10 minutes. Try to get those points on the board.
Oh, and Gregory's chip ahead was easily cut out by Lazarus. Here they come again, McGaw. Size of Mark McGaw for a centre. He could almost play in the pack, couldn't he? Penalty to Australia at the play the ball. Lydon, the man penalised. They decide not to kick, they're going to run it. Here's Ettinghausen, and he's on his way to another hat-trick here. Oh, great play, Ettinghausen. Another try for him. His second hat-trick in as many matches. And isn't he delighted? But they're not. Andrew Ettinghausen, I think, has sealed his place in the tests with 2 hat-tricks in successive games.
No doubt about that. Great play. Fends off one player. Upper body strength again. And that is a great try. And Wigan found wanting out wide. He's got plenty of space there. Look at the strength of this man. Skerrett tried to get through, and not even a forward was strong enough to halt E.T.'s progress at that time. Watch him fend off. Beautiful fend off there, and he goes in for another hat-trick.
Andrew Ettinghausen, star of the show so far for Australia. A star in a galaxy of talent. 6 tries. And just 4 minutes of the second half gone. So the skipper with the kicking responsibilities again. Hasn't kicked too well on this tour, but hasn't had the easiest of opportunities. Let's see how he does here. Again, it screws wide. And that's 2 he's kicked and 3 he's missed.
That could be a problem in the test matches, where the games should be a lot tighter. In the club games, of course, I'm sure that Fulton would have a little bit of concern over that. So he's got plenty to pick from.
Andrew Ettinghausen, hat-trick star, Mark II, Leeds Player of the Year in 1987. With displays like that, no wonder. Now then, come on, Wigan. Skerrett. This really was a match for 20 minutes of the first half. Wigan have gone slightly off the boil since. And they've picked up another knock here by the looks. Let's have a look what happened here. It's Lucas who has the ball.
I think he falls awkward here. Yeah, you can see Actually fell onto the football itself, probably winded himself.
Lazarus. Colossus of a man, he really is. And there's a few of them in the green and gold. Here's another, Roach. How do you bring him down? 10 minutes of the second half gone. Daly's kick. Hampson, well, he had positioned himself well, but the bounce beat him. And they're all round him, so Hampson will kick downfield, give it back to Belcher. Now what will he do? Well, he's going to kick. Well, it's Hampson and Belcher's game at the moment. Here we go again. Any chance, boys? Oops. Now then, they've played at it so they can, and that's why the kicking game was on. Hampson played at it. Wigan have had 16 kicks ahead, Australia 11, and that was probably the most effective. Belcher kicked it downfield again. Hampson played at it, and that played all the players onside because he fumbled it, and that's why Wigan are now in their own 22.
And they were very slow to get back onside, Wigan.
Gregory's kick. Hanley, Betts, and Myers leading the charge. But Belcher has got round Betts like he wasn't there, and he continues it with a pass in field to Meninga. It looked as though it went forward. Referee was on the spot, said play on. Well done, Lucas. But there's another try. Langer has touched down underneath the posts. Lucas got it, but Langer, he was the quickest to the ball.
Well, here we see Meninga get the ball out there. Now Lucas takes it. Langer said, okay, you've had it long enough. This is mine. Takes it away. And the crowd are stunned. Langer looks round. It's easy. Right under the black dot.
Well, Alan Langer, proving what a quick little thinker he is. He's under some pressure to hold on to his scrum half berth for the tests. But with play like that, he foxed everybody there. And scurried over underneath the posts to make this conversion attempt surely a matter of quite simplicity for Mr. Meninga. Into the wide blue yonder. Another 2 points to the score, and this huge Wigan crowd, as they did at Wakefield, as they did at St Helens, have gone a little quiet because of that scoreline. This tour needs a British victory somewhere along the line, Mike.
It certainly does, and a lot of hopes were pinned on the cherry and white today. Wasn't to be. There was a lot of those players out there are injured. That there is no doubt. But the strength of this Australian side is showing through.
And yet people are saying they're not as good as 82 and 86, but my word, there are a few chinks in their armour.
I haven't seen many, perhaps in the forward play. But they're always Johnny on the spot. They're always backing up the man with the ball. It's just a matter of time. The opposition seems to put a lot of effort into the first 30 minutes, but after that, they've just got far too much fitness.
And here they come again. This is Hancock. One or two rather cruel and ironic cheers when Hancock was grounded then. Here they come again. Magor, Meninga, they really do slice down that touchline. Here's Ettinghausen. He's after number 4. Lazarus. This is a tremendous display from Australia. Langer, Daly, almost caught by Hanley. Belcher, they're lining up out here. There's another try on. Belcher's going alone. Keeps it alive. Referee says, no, you're not getting away with that one. It's the 6th tackle and the turnover.
Well, there's a lot of pride here. Has to come out of the Wigan side. Losing the ball there. And a penalty given to the Wigan side. They certainly need it.
Dermot. An offside against the Australians at the play of the ball. Gregory takes it quickly. Quick thinking from the little man. Brought to ground, and I think he's lost the ball as well, has he? No. I don't think he was too happy with that high challenge. And it was Mark McGaw's challenge on him. Meanwhile, the ball moves to the other side of the field with Edwards. Jinking, ducking, diving, bobbing, weaving, but going nowhere, I'm afraid.
A little bit of frustration now creeping into the game, especially from the Wigan side. That really was bad play.
I think they're worn out, I'm afraid. Oh, and a penalty even. The referee giving a knock on, and someone from the Wigan side, or rather the Australian side, having a go at him, the referee.
Yes, it was Blocker Roach. Had a few words to say.
So, for the first time in a while, Wigan are down in the 22. Dermot. 10 metres short of the line they are. Gregory. Edwards. And again. Hanley. Well, he tried to take that one-handed. And a knock-on is the referee's verdict. It'll be a scrum down. And Hanley will pick himself up off the turf.
Bad delayed pass there by the little halfback, Andy Gregory. And his skipper really had no chance for that. He had to reach back for it. And when you're running into the green wall, you've got to keep your eyes on the ball at all times.
Belcher stepping well. Lazarus, crowd on the far side shout forward. Referee unimpressed. Langer. This is Daly. And he's being pushed back. Good to see. First time for a while. And the referee says penalty to Australia for something that somebody said.
Called held, the referee here. The referee wasn't too impressed, and a few words were spoken, and there's quite a lot of talking going on out there. Let's hope that this game doesn't deteriorate. Can't help wondering that this Wigan side, they're frustrated. They realise that they've got a lot of problems with their injuries, but they have been beaten by a better side today.
Hold up in play as Ricky Stewart comes on to replace Alan Langer. There is Langer taking a well-earned breather. He's worked hard this afternoon. Ricky Stewart comes on, one of the men who's pushing Langer for a place in the test lineup. So it's been a really impressive display by the Australians here this afternoon. It must be a very happy bench that we're going to visit now. And Paul Sirenen on that bench, having been replaced, is talking to Peter Hutt.
Paul, things seem to be going to plan for you.
They certainly are now, mate. I mean, Wigan started very well, but since then we've gone pretty well.
About your own performance, it seems to have taken a bit of a knock to your left leg.
Oh, just a slight twinge in the hamstring, mate. I did it in about the first 5 or 10 minutes, so it just wasn't worth risking it staying on.
They seem to be taking a chance to give everyone a game now. All the subs coming on now.
Yeah, I think so, mate. It's a pretty comfortable lead now, so I think the coach will give everyone a run.
Are you surprised it's so easy today?
Oh, they started pretty well. It was a fairly warm day, actually. I mean, I was doing pretty tough after the first 10 or 15, but yeah, I mean, we're a very good side, mate. I mean, once we click it, it's pretty hard to stop us, I think.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
No pleasure.
Yes, hard to stop them when they click. And he was playing with a twinge in his hamstring from the first 5 minutes. The Lord alone knows what's going to happen when he's fit. Well, Australia, while we were hearing from Paul Sirenen, had a good run down the touchline. But they lost the ball inside the 22, as you saw. Wigan back in possession, but they won't be for long because Lydon has to kick to give his side a breather. And the hat-trick hero is underneath it, Andrew Ettinghausen. It's a bit of modelling spare time, doesn't he, in Sydney, Mike?
Certainly does. There's a lot of modelling, and there's quite a few girls in Australia who would be very keen to get his autograph.
Here's Ricky Stewart, first touch for him. This is Lazarus. Oh, breaking the tackle with quite alarming ease. Stewart again. Langer off and Stewart on. This is Daly. This is Lindner. Here they come again. Walters. He left the ball behind, and Lucas picks up.
Trying to be a bit too clever there, the Australian side, but beautiful dummy here by Daly. And then the pass inside to Walters. Gets the butt inside to Walters, and Walters, well, took his eye off the ball. And once again, that man, Steve Hampson, he certainly played well for the Wigan side in defence.
Well, the handling errors have certainly gone Australia's way, 10-7, but my word, they can make errors even against a side like Wigan and still come out on top. Reminder, 26 minutes of this second half gone. Wigan 6, the Australian tourists 30. And that means in their 3 matches of the tour so far, the Australians have hit 30 on each occasion or more. And they've now conceded only 5 tries. Ominous, Mike.
It certainly is, and a lot of people say that this is not as good as the other previous 2 tours.
Don't tell that to Wigan. They're having to work overtime here to keep them out. Stewart backing up in support. Brought down by Goulding. Hancock, Roach, Lazarus, Lindner. Here they come again. McGaw, Ettinghausen looked a yard forward. That. Oh, thank you, says Hanley. That certainly was forward. He doesn't mind, though. Great run down the wing again.
Certainly was. He's had a good game, E.T. 3 tries, made a lot of breaks, and so have a lot of the 3 quarters. But it's becoming quite easy now. This Wigan outfit very tired. They're not moving up in defence. The gaps are there just for the taking, and that's exactly what Australia are doing.
It's a testimony to the rugby league loving public of Wigan that we've got such a big crowd here today. And I can tell you that not many people are leaving for the turnstiles to go home for an early tea. There they are, massive crowd inside Central Park, and all staying to pay tribute to this excellent Kangaroo touring team. And I must say now, Wigan look a beaten side, and they look as though they're playing on automatic pilot only, because here's another try. Of that there is no doubt. Well, maybe not. Some doubt. Those 2 Wigan players had just a bit more confidence in their own ability than I did. Hancock, though, there were men in support, at least half a dozen. Should have released the pass. Daly. Oh, that ball's gone to ground. McGaw. So they are fallible.
Well, they're just keeping this ball alive, and we saw there that the long run by Belcher. And this is where the mistake was made. E.T. knocking on. But Belcher made it look so easy. Very weak attempt to put him down. And they're really just going through the motions now.
Andy Gregory limping heavily, as you see. He had injuries before the game, passed himself fit, and he's been replaced. And Ian Gildart has come on. That doesn't look good from a Wigan point of view, and it certainly doesn't look good from a Great Britain point of view. And that looks awful from a Wigan point of view. They've surrendered the possession again. This is Stewart, this is Hancock, and this is Brad Mackay. And there's another try on the board. Brad Mackay, the man from St George's. And he's over, and it's brought very lukewarm response from this Wigan crowd.
Yes, this ball just keeping you alive. Inside pass to Hancock. Hancock realised there was nothing doing there. Look at the gap. Mackay in for a very simple try indeed. And this all comes about by keeping that ball alive. They're experts at it. A bad mistake by Wigan. Picked up quickly. Linda sets the ball out wide. Stewart, a neat pass inside to Hancock. And Hancock onto Mackay. The gaps are there. It's easy. Look at that inside. That's good football. Keep the ball alive, let it do the work, and you'll be rewarded with the 4 points.
So Meninga again with this conversion attempt. Couple successful. Greg Alexander's warming up. Saw him in such good kicking form on Wednesday at Wakefield. 6 goals from him. He's about to come and have a run. Here's Meninga, and he's pushed that one wide as well. But it doesn't matter. Half an hour of this second half gone, and Australia's lead has increased. And this now is a record score against Wigan for the Australians. 34-6. Betters the 32-4 that Australia inflicted on Wigan in 1956. So they began in record-breaking style at St Helens. They continue the record-breaking style here today. Belcher takes a breather, and Greg Alexander comes on. And Skerritt and Lucas taking a breather. Is he? No, Skerritt's been turned round and told to go back on. Lucas has taken the breather. And so, it has been all change. Both sides now, I think, used all their substitutes. No one polishing the bench now. And a record-breaking day again for Australia.
Well, the Wigan crowd, they're stunned. All they have to do is just stand back and admire how this Australian side keep the ball alive. And full credit to them. The Australians played very well.
Number 17, the new man on, was Michael Forshaw, substitute in the Charity Shield that you might have seen on the Sports Channel when we kicked the season off in August. Stewart with the kick. Hampson collects. Missed by Daly. Tackle, though, completed by Walters and by Hancock. They're 34-6 up. It's a record score, but look, there are 4 men chasing the man in possession of the football. Such is the power of this Australian side. What's more, they force errors from Wigan at almost every opportunity. They won't be enjoying this at Central Park, I can tell you.
Well, a little bit unlucky there. The Australian player didn't get out of the way at the play of the ball. And Wigan can count themselves most unlucky.
Referee wants the scrum to settle 10 metres in from touch. Oh, and that was feeding behind the, almost to the lock forwards feet, never mind the second row. However, Wigan mightn't have a complaint because here's Betts, great tackling. Greg Alexander. Edwards. Forshaw just on. Edwards again. Marshall out there. Releases the ball. Edwards again. Lydon. That's Gildart. Goulding now. Ooh, that was a high tackle by Lindner. Referee says it was on the chest.
Well, it certainly was high. Must have a high chest.
Hanley. He's kept it going, to be fair. Last tackle. Edwards. Kick for the chasers. Easy for the green and gold.
Plenty of confidence when you're leading so much. McGaw jumped very high, kept his eye on the ball. That's what it counts. A lot of confidence. Takes some stopping.
We're in the last 5 minutes here at Central Park. The Australians have run up a record score against Wigan. 34 points to 6. And the Australians have had 13 minutes more in possession. There is no let-off when the Aussies are in this sort of a mood. Hancock stepping inside. It's 3 to bring him down.
He's created a lot of problems, Hancock. I'd like to have a pound for every tackle he's avoided.
Stewart's kick. Into no man's land. It's a great kick. Oh. 34-6 up. And you get kicks like that from Ricky Stewart.
Beautiful positional kick here. Plenty of height. Remember, this is against the wind. What a great kick indeed.
Applause round the pitch for Ian Lucas as the Wigan man of the match, as another scrum forms, and that's the count. Australia winning in the scrums as well. Hanley. Much depending on that man. A week on Saturday at Wembley. The Wigan and Great Britain captain. Much depending on this fella too, Joe Lydon. Another mistake from Wigan.
Well, it's pretty hot out there, and Wigan realise, and they've realised for quite some time, that the game's over. And the frustration, they really didn't know what was happening there. Trying to make the switch. And just for his troubles, picked up an injury as well.
So some running repairs to Martin Dermott, the hooker. Well, if Wigan get turned over in record-breaking fashion, who on earth will stop this Kangaroo team?
Well, it's going to take a lot of commitment, and that's the advantage the Australians have. Certainly that commitment has been on show today.
Shadows lengthening here at Central Park, and it's on. Oh, dear me. Frustration on Wigan's part. The Australians won't take a backward step. And my word, there were some blows going in there that would do Douglas and Holyfield proud.
Well, it all occurred when Lazarus took the ball up. They said that he hadn't played the penalty correctly. Plenty of words were said, followed by a few knuckle sandwiches, and they all joined in.
Everyone was involved in that, including the two Chutz judges and the match referee. Let's see where the problem arose.
Well, there we
Lazarus
see
is well,
Lazarus.
wasn't it?
Yeah, Lazarus takes it through. He threw the ball. Well, that was silly play by Lazarus, and that's equally silly. The game's over, and full credit to Ellery Hanley. He was trying to stop it, and when it gets to this point, it takes more than one man. You see Daly throwing one late here. In he goes again, and really, we can do without that.
Referee wants Mal Meninga. And we're in the last minute of ordinary time. We could have done without all this. The referee wants Michael Hancock for a word. Hancock and Meninga being spoken to by the referee. No one off though. And of course on Wednesday we saw 3 Kangaroos sent off, and all for throwing punches. That was as good a fight as we've seen on the tour.
It certainly was, but that was silly by Lazarus, and I'm sure that Bobby Fulton, the coach, will have a few words to say to him. It was silly so late in the game. Just barely seconds remaining of this match.
There's Bobby Fulton, the Australian coach, managing a smile as he talks to some of his players. But from the scrum, they've got possession. There are 1 or 2 English coaches, of course, who say it isn't a match against the Kangaroos unless there's a punch or 2 swung. But it all is a little bit distasteful, I must say, so late in the game. Magor. To the power of him. Oh, that looked a bit high. Referee again says he got him round the collar. Tried telling that to McGaw. The clock stopped again.
And
Big
Roach is having...
Roach.
And Skerritt. That was eyeball to eyeball. No words were needed then. The little eyes said it all. Well, McGaw coming through here, and it is a high one from Skerritt. Probably had a bigger collar than when he first started. And yes, he hit the chest and went high. Still as painful.
And he still needs some assistance. I think he felt that. Of that, there's no doubt. And it all has got a little grim towards the full-time siren. We're into overtime here. And there could be quite a bit of that, the way this game's going on.
Well, that was expected. I knew Roach would take the ball up after the eyeball confrontation.
Wigan get the ball back. Offside. Skerritt.
And that was good play by the referee. He could see that blocker Roach had set his mind on picking out Wigan's number 10. And luckily, the whistle avoided blocker Roach getting into even more trouble.
The referee has just warned Mr. Roach. Not only is there a physical confrontation going on between Skerritt and Roach, there's a verbal battle going on as well.
It was rather amusing. Roach actually calling out to Skerritt, come on at me.
Dermot from the play the ball. Edwards. Will it bounce kindly? It does. Tried to get the pass out, but look, 4 or 5 green and gold jerseys round that ball. And when you consider that it's a record score against Wigan, they have not lost any of their enthusiasm. 3 minutes of stoppage time played. And here's another cracker. Meanwhile, play continues.
You mentioned earlier that quite a few people say that it's not a confrontation against the Australians without a few fisticuffs. But it should be at the start of the game, not at the end. It's a bit too late for that.
We've played 3.5 minutes of stoppage time here. Another high tackle again. A high tackle, this time the referee agrees. Goodway penalised. Well, a very high tackle.
Never any doubt about that. And let's hope the referee will calm things down. He's